Way, Liz.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to be here with you. I know it's Saturday morning, and I know many of you probably have Zoom fatigue. I know it's real, but we're going to have a lot of fun this morning. Try to grab hold of your genius, and I hope everyone has some coffee. As Ben mentioned, please feel free to submit questions. I'll try to get to them during, but I may end up tackling them at the end. And just a little bit about me. I'm going to share my screen for a second, so hold on here. So hopefully everyone can see that. A little bit about me. I'm a strategic communications consultant, and I specialize in helping companies and individuals build their brands. I like to dig in, find people's stories, and help them refine that, figure out who they want to reach, and then build plans to make sure we're targeting the best vehicles to reach those people. But before we begin, I want everyone to grab a pen and paper. I'm old school, so I prefer pen and paper, but you can also grab your computer and make sure you have something open to write. You know, it's harder and harder to connect. And in this virtual world, we don't get that energy that we feel in the room with people. And also there's so much coming at people. There's Netflix, there's TikTok, Animal Crossing if you like games. And so there's really a fight to get people to pay attention. And at the end of the day, we all want to connect. And one of the best ways to connect is through stories. As Sean mentioned earlier, this conference is dedicated to the power of storytelling. And I really believe that as social animals, we all want to connect. So today I'm going to share some tips on how to discover and tell your story in a way that captures and engages your audience. We're going to learn how to do this in about 30, we're going to end up in a place where our story, we can tell it in about 30 seconds. Now, some of you may have heard of an elevator pitch, this notion that you should be able to tell your story in 20 or 30 seconds as you're riding up in the elevator with someone. Some people don't like that phrase. They feel like it's outdated, but it kind of gets the point across. But what we're going to do is go through an exercise, and this is a taste of what is possible, because it takes a really long time to try to whittle things down to 30 seconds. And it's something I work with people on a lot, but I think we're going to have fun. Okay. So why does story matter? Well, I read the statistic recently, and it's funny because this is coming up again. It takes about 30 seconds for people to form an impression. And I think in Zoom land, it's even shorter. Now, you guys might already be thinking, do I like her voice? What's she going to tell me? Am I sticking around? And I hope I've grabbed you a little bit. But impressions really matter. Yes, we all are who we are, but in terms of job interviews, meetings, again, it's harder and harder to get people to pay attention. And I don't know about you, but in Zoom or in this virtual world, or with so much coming at me, I have to focus on actively listening. How many of you know someone who you feel is really just not even listening to you? They're waiting for you to finish your point so that they can make their own point? That's not actively listening. That's actually, you're talking, but I really want to get my point across. And we want to make sure we're grabbing people and having them really listen to us. We want to connect, we want to communicate, and we want to make sure that we're captivating people. And if we don't know our own story, we can't expect others to kind of figure it out. There's a great line in Donald Miller's Building a Story Brand. He talks about this fact that story is a sense-making device. It helps you kind of wade through everything that's happening. And also, he loves to say, you can't make people burn too many calories trying to understand your brand or story. That always stuck with me. I love that, because it's like, don't make me work too hard to figure it out. So that's what we're going to do today. And whether you're trying to reach, now many of you may be authors, poets, creatives, or maybe just love reading. What we're going to do today is focus on your story. And you can think about this from either your own point of view whether you have a new book, how do you reach a publisher? Maybe you're trying to reach the media because you want them to write about something. Maybe you want to talk to your partner in a better way. So we're gonna go through that. Okay, so grab that piece of paper, or I also, if you email me after, I have a little worksheet that you can work through. And I'd like you guys to write down these prompts or keep this page. And as I said, this is a kind of a roadmap to putting together a short little bit about yourself, a short story. Sometimes people call this a mission statement. It's your purpose. It can be your belief statement, or it can be your elevator pitch. And a mission statement really describes why you exist, what your purpose is. Some of you may have heard of vision statements, and vision statements are really, what do I want for the future? So we're going to tackle this. Let's start with step one. I want you to grab that piece of paper and just jot down what you want to focus on today. Is it like your own story? Is it something that you have coming out? And just write that piece down to start. Then, some of you may have heard of Simon Sinek. If you haven't, I really recommend his TED Talk on finding your why. And he states that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And he talks a lot about the fact that many of us live in our what. We can say, I do this. But he believes that you have to start with your why. Again, why do you exist? What's your purpose? He uses a great example from Apple. Now, we all know Apple makes technology, but they built their why, and they stated, everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. They built this notion of why they exist. And it's really a rallying cry. It can be, if you work in a company or you work on a team, it can be a rallying cry for the team. So let's get your juices flowing. I'm gonna give you an example of my why statement that I continue to work on. But at Liz Stein Consulting, I believe that everyone has a story to tell, and I want to help you find your special sauce. That's my why. Now, I change that as well, but that's really why I do what I do every day, why I get up, why I get excited about the work that I do. Okay, I'm going to give everyone about a minute if you want to take the time to write down what you think your why is. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and just start jotting down. I'll set my little timer here. Okay, I'm not sure if I have the ability to do this, Ben. Can anyone share, or can we put things in the chat?
They can go ahead and put things in the chat for statements that they might want to share with you. Sure.
Okay, sounds good. I can't actually see the chat right now, but I'm going to rely on Ben and see if anything's in there.
Nothing just yet. The other option is for attendees to submit their why statements into the Q&A panel. We'll be monitoring either one.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, we're gonna move on. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever worked on building your mission statement or your purpose statement, but if you think of the why as your belief statement, the how and what becomes your contribution and your impact statement. And we're gonna spend a little time now thinking about our how and our what. So if you think of your how as the process of delivering, It's what sets you apart. It's your unique selling proposition. It's really the action you take. And that gets married with your what. And your what is the product or service that you deliver. How do you engage people? What's your result? What are the resources and services you're delivering? So if we continue with that Apple example, so if you remember, everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. Their how and what is, how we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Our what? We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? So again, everything they do, they're coming from their why. So some other tips, because I know the how and the what can be a little funky to understand. Your why really is the impact that you want to make. And it's your motivation. It's your unique process. And your what is really, what do you want to offer? What do you want to deliver? And it supports your why. Okay, I know this might sound funky, but we're going to move on. I'm going to give you two more examples. Hopefully you guys know Everlane. It's an amazing clothing company. And this is their mission statement. At Everlane, we want the right choice to be as easy as putting on a great shirt. That's really their belief. And then they move on to talk to their how and their what. I'm not going to read this for you. You guys can read. I hate when people just read everything on the screen. Okay, let's see. Do we have any questions at this point?
And Liz, we've got a couple of submissions actually going back to the why.
Oh, great.
I
Okay.
think I can read off to you, and if you'd like to respond, that's
sure.
like
sure.
a good idea. All right, so Deepam writes, I believe that everyone has a unique voice and a unique story to tell, and I want to support, encourage, and protect that.
I love it. What a great why statement. Deepam, that's fantastic. And you're really nailing it, because it is about this idea of what gets you up every day. Okay, I see one from Pat too. I want to prove I can do it. Put my many stories on paper. Pat, now that's really a declaration. I think you want to take a step back and think about, before you even get to, I want to prove I can do it, what is driving you every day? Is it the storytelling? Is it the writing? I think you want to just take one little step back and start a little further. And we can certainly work on this again offline once we get through this seminar. I love these. Thank you guys so much for submitting those. Okay, so we spent a little time on the why. Does anyone have any questions around the how and the what? Because I know it can be confusing. Okay, so I'm going to now take you, I know I'm moving this super quickly. We are going to work on trying to draft something. Now again, you've identified yourself, you've written something down for your why. I want you to take a little time and write something down for your how and your what, okay? And I'll go back. Let me put these questions up so everyone can see this. Take a little time to write your how and your what, and then we're gonna share again. And again, if you have any questions, just pop it into the Q&A. Wish I had some Jeopardy music to play. Okay. Does anyone want to share their how and their what?
So we've got one coming in from Kabatha in the chat.
Okay, I want people to recognize who they are and for them be able to find the courage to just be. Through words on the page, I want people to be. That's your how. So the first one was your what, you're saying, and the second one was your how. And I'll see if we're getting your what. While Kavatha's writing, does anyone have any other questions or things they want to share? Okay. So Kavatha, I think your why statement, I always believe, and using the word believe, it's really helpful to complete the sentence, I believe that. And so if you say, I believe that people should be recognized for who they are, or something along those lines, it'll help. I really love where you're going and the fact that you want to empower people to write and to be able to be who they are and put words on the page. Okay, so is everyone feeling like they're getting this? Let's see, I see a Q and A in here. Okay, from Deepam, to create a non-judgmental environment for writers to explore the story they need to tell. I really like that, Deepam. I think that's exactly getting at the essence of what you're trying to do, the process, and that's really a bit of your how. But it's wonderful because it's something that we're all trying to strive for. Okay. So why is this important and why do we want to put it together? Okay, so you can use this when you first meet someone, when you're writing a pitch, as we talked about, to get someone to pay attention to a story idea, when you're reaching out to a reporter, even when you meet someone at the time where we're able to interact with people and go to parties or even go on a date or something like that. These are the types of things that get to your essence, your authenticity. And more when we talk about connection, people want to meet the other human that's right across from them and connect. So let's try to put it all together. I want everyone that's on the line to try to think about, put together their little pitch. And again, we said this has to, you think 30 seconds is super short or super long. But when you're writing these when you get clarity and things become concise. And again, I want to reiterate, as we all know, for anyone who writes or loves to read, the shorter something is, the harder it is, and the amount of revisions you need to take. So let's all take a moment. I'm sorry I can't see you all, but we're gonna give you a chance to be able to also, if you want to read your full statements out loud. So again, remember, you're gonna start by identifying yourself or your company or a story idea or a product, whatever it is that you want to champion in this little elevator pitch or this little mission statement. You're going to identify yourself, describe your why, explain how you do what you do, state your what it is, and then we'll get to the last part, which is engage with a question. And before we do that, I'm just going to read mine. Again, getting back to my mission statement for my company. So at Stein Consulting, I believe that everyone has a story to tell, and I want to help people uncover their special sauce. At Stein Consulting, I help you amplify your story one word at a time. Are you struggling to describe your business and figure out how to reach the right people? Let me know. I'm here to help. So the last piece is engaging with a question. And sometimes you can even put that at the beginning. If you're trying to solve a problem, if you want to really grab people at the get-go, I could say, are you struggling to describe your business and figure out how to reach the right people? Well, at Liz Stein Consulting, I believe that everyone has a story to tell, and I want to help you uncover your special sauce. So we can play with that as we go, but I wanted to give you the structure of how to build an elevator pitch and how to write your mission statement. So everyone, just take a minute. You may have been scribbling this whole time that I've been talking. And we'd love to have you raise your hand if anyone wants to be able to share or tell their story to the rest of the group.
Yep, and folks, if you're not familiar with how to raise your hand, you should have the option in the Zoom screen next to your name. The other way that you can just let us know if you'd like to say anything audibly is just by mentioning that and mentioning that in the chat, and then what we'll do is we'll just allow you to talk and unmute your microphone, and you'll be able to pose your question or make your comments.
Okay, we'll give it a minute and see if anyone wants to share. Okay, I have one question. How would you suggest gracefully modifying your mission statement as you as a person grow, learn, change, become better, or pivot your business? Great question. This comes from a woman named Pamela. So this is such a wonderful thing. And I want people to know that I do this exercise for myself every time I feel like I'm shifting focus. Or it's also a great exercise to do as you're trying to figure out your path forward. Maybe you're at a place where you want to change your business, or maybe you're at a place where you're trying to create your own brand and figure out how you want to present yourself. And it's something to check in on. I do it twice a year. A lot of people do it once a year. Companies often do it as they're going through different evolutions, but there may be words in your mission statement that still speak to you, and there may be words in your own personal mission statement that you've outgrown, or maybe you've changed your business slightly based on where you've taken it, and so things don't speak to you anymore. And the beauty of this is a lot of what you're trying to do informs who you are and the services you're trying to provide to your client. And so it's a great exercise. I will tell you, this is also an incredible exercise to do as a team. It's a great team building exercise to help you figure out if you're all on the same page, and how are we as a team going to build our path forward? What do we want to stand for? And also companies do this all the time. And I don't know about you, but I would rather be part of an organization or even buy clothes from a company that I know has a like-minded ethos and has similar beliefs to myself. So this is something that you can do on a regular basis. I don't think you should do it every month, but it is an exercise to help you hone. And also, please know that we're doing this pretty rapidly, but this can take a half day. It can take multiple days. Trying to get at the essence. These are big existential questions, and they don't always come super rapidly. But I'm trying to get you guys in an environment of doing a little bit of free writing to see what bubbles up and what comes to the surface. Okay, so now we're going to have an opportunity to put it all together and see if anyone wants to share and write your own pitch. I think you all had time to do that. Let's see, do we have anyone who wants to share? If not, it's no problem. I'm going to share my email, and we can also do this offline. I'd love to help each of you. Also, since I'm going through this pretty quickly, there may be some other questions, and it may seem hard to grasp. So, okay, so we're going to move on. And again, let's talk a little bit about connection. I think this is a really, really important piece. So we talked about the fact that people form an impression in 30 seconds. I have a couple of other stats for you that I found that were super surprising to me. Do you know that 93% of communication is actually nonverbal? That means that, okay, 7% you're hearing me and the words I'm saying. 38% is my voice and how I'm using my voice. And 55% is visual. So have any of you been on a conference call, and I'm telling you I have, where someone had their computer, their camera down by their feet, or they were lying in bed doing a business call? Okay, your profile and your power pose, it all matters, even in this environment. You really need to make sure that you're setting the best example. And people are reading, they might not even be hearing you, but they're like, oh, she's laying in bed. How seriously is she taking this? And how many of you have heard the term read the room? Again, part of connecting is having a sense of the energy, who's in the room. Well, we don't get to do that. I don't get to interact with each of you and feel whether you're excited by what I'm saying, whether you're questioning, what does my facial expression look like? So it's so important to understand that your voice matters, your body language matters, your posture matters, and it's, again, part of what helps us connect, even in this virtual environment. Also, as I mentioned before, take the time to listen. I know it's very hard in the virtual environment. People end up talking over each other. They're not sure if someone's completely finished their point, or I'm so excited to get my point out that I spout over you. Try to really actively listen and take a beat and take a pause. And remember, personal stories are a really great way to connect. And that's part of why we're working on this exercise, because I want to know more about you. What are you interested in? What gets you excited? That's going to give me energy. Okay, it looks like I have a question here. Okay, it looks like Deepam would like to read his question. Ben, do you think you could unmute him?
Yep.
Oh, I'm
Deepam's
sorry. Deepam's a
unmuted.
woman,
Right
I think.
ahead.
I can't see the face. Sorry, your picture's so small. I really would love to hear from you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You can hear me now?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
Okay. Write your way in. I believe that everyone has a unique voice, a unique story to tell. I want to encourage, support, and protect that. I create a safe environment in my workshops and retreats for writers to explore and take risks in order to tell their stories. Has your writing been stalled or shut down by judgment or self-doubt? These workshops will get your writing revitalized and refreshed.
Oh my God! What is this? Is this the virtual clapping, or we can do this? I really was. Was everyone captivated by that? I was with you all. You brought me right in, and I was writing your mission statement with you. That was excellent. I really enjoyed that. Thank you for sharing, Deepam. Anyone else have a statement they want to read? Let's see, do we have another one? Okay. Okay, so I think also everyone feels more comfortable when people share stories. It's a way to engage. It's a way to captivate. And I know we've been, we went through this really, really quickly, but as you have the framework for your mission statement, you remember you're going to identify yourself, start with your why. You're going to state your how and your what, really explain it, engage with a question, and use an opportunity to connect. And remember that you have to practice. This, you're going to have to really refine the words. And it's something, as I said, that I spend hours with individuals and companies working on. Your brand positioning is really important because it's the first thing that people read when they go to your website, or maybe when you have a meeting with them. So just some tips to keep in mind. Start with your why. And for people, that's the hardest to do. We really live in our what. I deliver, I do this. That's not what motivates you. That's just what you're delivering every day. So spend a little time to try to think about what's my purpose? Why do I do what I do? And what's your special sauce? Every one of you has something incredible that you have to share. Personal stories help you connect. And creativity, clarity, what's that call to action? How are you going to engage them with a question? And I know it's scary, but we all make an impression in 30 seconds. And I would say some people maybe have shorter attention spans. And I hope that now you're going to start listening in a different way when you meet people or they tell you about themselves. It's something great to practice on people as you're going over the next couple of days. This is also a really fun exercise to do with friends. It gives you another perspective on them. And I hope I've given you something to think about. This is just a springboard for all the amazing writing that you all do every day. I want to make sure that you email me. Here's my information. Please stay in touch. You can reach out to me. Oh, I think I have some more questions here. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much. I know this was fast and it was a lot to take in, but I really just wanted to give you a quick framework to start thinking about this. I think it's going to be something you'll carry with you, and it's going to be interesting as you go through the amazing programming today that 1455 has lined up. You're going to hear in a different way. I think you're going to listen in a different way. And I'm so excited to stay in touch. And again, I have a worksheet, so feel free to email me if you'd like me to send that worksheet to you. I also just wanted to take an opportunity to thank Haley Lynch, who works with me. She's amazing and helped me put this workshop together. And thanks to the entire team at 1455 for letting me do this morning workshop on Saturday, and big thanks to everyone who's participating, and to Deepam, thank you for sharing. And I look forward to seeing you guys throughout the panels today. It's going to be wonderful. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.